Welcome to Hooked on Football, your go-to podcast for everything NFL. Whether you're a lifelong fan or just getting into the game, we're here to break down the action on and off the field. Each week we'll dive into the latest news from around the league, including game recaps, picks and predictions, fantasy advice, analysis, and insights. From injury reports to power rankings and everything in between, we'll keep you connected to all things NFL. In order to keep up with us, please like, share, subscribe, and follow, because once you're hooked on football, there's no looking back. I'm Jordan Hoffman.
And I'm Brett Hostetler.
And we're excited to get this thing started. It's the first episode. For any of you tuning in, we appreciate it.
We just had week 5 of the 2024 season. And there's a few big news happenings. I feel like the biggest, Robert Saleh was fired, which I hate to say it, but I saw it was coming. I saw it coming. I was telling him, I feel like I brought it up a couple times to you, but especially after this last loss, that Saleh's sucking it up. He didn't seem like he had that locker room together. They did not feel like a team. It felt like a ton of talented dudes all on different pages all the time. So I was kind of glad to see that.
Yeah. I think you and I see it a little different. I feel like their defense is performing pretty well, and he's kind of a defensive-minded coach.
Sure.
But then again, as you all can see, I'm a Broncos fan, so I kind of hate Nathaniel Hackett. So I kind of like to put the blame on him. But
I'm a Packers fan, so I kind of love him. But also, I think I'm starting to see that he benefited from a perfect situation in Green Bay and then went to Denver and sucked it up. And then
not much talent there, to be honest.
And then for whatever reason couldn't get it going in New York. And like I said, that offense especially, like, I've never seen a group have so much trouble getting all on one page, because it seemed like Rodgers and the receivers were never on one page. The only guy that he was ever on the same page as was Lazard. Who can't catch half the time. So it felt like it was something that started at the top, and it really felt like it was a coaching thing. And something about Saleh just kind of also, like, big buff bald dude, but something about him just seems kind of...
He seems kind of arrogant.
And kind of like a wuss.
Oh,
he doesn't seem like he could command... That's just what I've... Ever since he got in that head coach spot, that's just vibes I've gotten from him. So, not super surprised. I think that... what's their defensive coordinator that took it over? He's their interim guy now.
Oh, yeah, I forget his name.
I have a better feeling about him, but we'll see.
I don't know if you saw the rumor or not that somebody said that Saleh was apparently considering demoting Hackett and taking away his play calling responsibilities right before he got fired, which who knows if it's true or not. But
I hadn't seen that, but there's always anywhere where Aaron Rodgers is, there's going to be hella rumors. So
yeah, no kidding.
Not surprised.
Yep. I did see an interesting statistic regarding Saleh that even after being fired, he's going to be making $20,000 a day for the next 2 years. So hard to feel too bad for the guy.
That's absolutely insane.
Especially because he'll probably find a job next season
It's a
somewhere.
real bummer. He's going to have to sit at home just
raking in the money,
backing up the Brinks truck.
That's too bad. I feel for him, really.
Yeah.
One thought I had is maybe he might end up in Detroit as a coordinator next year. Aaron Glenn's kind of one of the hot coaching candidates to maybe go somewhere else. So
yeah,
he obviously was a good defensive coordinator for the 49ers.
He was a great defensive coordinator for the 49ers.
Yeah.
So that'd be good for a lot of people, but not for me.
Yeah. Curious what you think about the Davante Adams rumors with Saleh being fired. Do you think he still wants to go to the Jets? Obviously, he wants to play with Rodgers, but
I honestly, with how things were going, I feel like that only would increase his interest, because, like, it was bad there.
Well, plus, he's talking with Rodgers, and if Rodgers didn't want Saleh gone, he wouldn't be gone. If Rodgers did want him gone, then Davante is probably one of them gone too.
Yeah, maybe. I wonder if Rodgers actually has that much power, especially at that age, to get rid of a coach like everyone's trying to say he wanted him gone. I don't know if I believe, like, huge Rodgers fan. I think he's great and should have some pull, but I don't think he would have that much pull at any organization.
Yeah, especially when he is kind of new too.
Yeah, but Saleh has sucked for a few years now, so it's not like...
Yeah, true.
It's not like this was...
Zach Wilson, but...
Well, they would have said that about Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
He was there before. I mean, that was pre-Saleh, but
yeah,
still.
Yeah. Speaking about Davante Adams, what other teams are you thinking he might be interested in trading for him?
I mean, obviously, the big one, other than Jets, would be the Chiefs. That everyone's talking about him going there.
I just can't believe that the Raiders would trade Davante in the division.
We've seen interdivision big trades like that. I don't know. With the Raiders, like, not really being a contender at all, maybe they don't care, and maybe Kansas City offers enough to get him. I could definitely see them willing to give up everything for him, especially with Rice. But I don't know. I was kind of obviously wanted him to come back to Green Bay, but they immediately said, we're not interested.
Who is the other Kansas City receiver that's out for the year too, though? And they have two?
Oh, no, I don't know if he's out for the year, but Hollywood Brown has been...
They said it's a long shot that he'll be back for the season. So,
Hmm.
I did hear an interesting theory on interdivisional trades that the Raiders might consider that they want the Chiefs to spend assets now to deplete their assets in the future because the Raiders aren't going to win right now anyway.
Right. Might as well let Chiefs be good right now.
Yeah.
Screw them over for the future.
Yeah. I'm feeling they'll find a way to...
Speaking of Raiders trades, what is all this nonsense I hear about Max Crosby?
Oh, I don't think there's any way they're getting rid of him. He's
a
building block to their team.
That's how I felt, and he's still young, but I was seeing stuff about him going to Detroit, and I was like...
Yeah, he
please God no.
he did say when they asked him if there was another team he would play for, he'd want to play for Detroit.
Of course,
he played for Eastern Michigan in college.
Yeah,
so.
Okay, well that makes sense. He seems like he's from Detroit.
Other teams on the Davante rumor list were the Saints. Derek Carr going back to play with him again, but now Carr, as of this week, is injured and out for a while. It sounds like. So I'm not. Plus, they're on a 3-game losing streak.
Those in the bud.
So I don't see that happening.
Also, I think he realized when he went to Vegas that Derek Carr's not his ticket to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, no kidding. The one that I've kind of ran with is the Bills. Try to keep them away from the Jets. They don't have a number one wide receiver. They're. I'm going to talk a little bit about their team statistics later, but they're. I know they won some games early on, but they're not kind of struggling.
Yeah.
What do you think it would take to get Davante? Because the rumors were a second-round pick, which seems wild for a player that good, but I'm always surprised by how little players.
Also, he is older. I definitely think someone's given up a first for him, though. Yeah. Because, like...
If there's a bidding war,
30, there's going to be competition. Realistically, he could play another 6 years.
Yeah.
Maybe not at Davante level, but good for probably 6 more years.
A step down from Davante level is still pretty good. So.
Yeah, I'll still take it.
What do you think about the next coach fired? Any predictions?
Let's see.
Some names I had on the list were Doug Peterson in Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence's.
Yeah.
They just paid him all that money and. They did get.
I could maybe see Sirianni as well.
Yep, that was what I meant too.
Why can't I think of
Dennis Allen with the Saints, 3-game losing streak?
Yeah. Why can't I think of Cincinnati's coach? They've
Zach Taylor.
Yeah. They've kind of been getting back in it and looking like
but 1-4. That's
rough.
I don't know what the statistics are on teams that are 1-4 making the playoffs, but with the Steelers overperforming, and the Ravens playing well.
Justin Fields maybe remembered that he's Justin Fields.
Well, if that's the case, they're only going to move on to Russell Wilson, which we know how that's going to go.
He's Russell Wilson.
Not well.
So, yeah, I don't know.
Did you hear about his new slogan for this season?
No.
Of course.
Scared.
Of course, he had the Go Hawks with Seattle. That one's fine.
That's fine.
That's a normal thing to say. And then the Broncos country, let's ride. That'll be the last time you ever hear me say that on this show or anywhere. But yeah, his new slogan supposedly is "Win the 7th," which is
what?
Yeah, Pittsburgh's 7th ring.
Yeah. Oh,
so cringy.
Yeah, he's the worst.
You will not get an argument out of me on that one. What about most surprising start to the season?
Obviously Minnesota.
Yeah, no kidding.
Obviously Minnesota. Any other answer? Wrong.
Right.
Because Sam Darnold is not an all-pro quarterback. What the heck is happening?
Yeah, it is crazy. I don't think anyone saw it coming. If they say they did, they're probably lying.
Well, I just saw a thing. Nick Swartzen saw it coming.
Oh, his predictions on Rich Eisen's show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually listened to that live, and I was thinking he's just being a homer, but...
He was obviously being a homer.
Right.
Even hindsight, he was obviously being a homer. He said his Super Bowl prediction was them and the Las Vegas Aces.
Okay, I did not catch that part.
Yeah, so...
although...
Obviously was being...
Better than the Las Vegas Raiders,
This is true. This
could happen.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and then I guess also some other teams... Steelers maybe.
Well, I'm thinking opposite end of the spectrum too. Yeah,
Bengals.
Negatives. Jacksonville 1-4. Washington, Jaden Daniels 4-1.
That's a surprise. I don't want to say act like big surprise because like I liked Jaden Daniels already, but I did not think that he was gonna.
Yeah, I liked him. I didn't.
Commanders sucked.
I didn't think Washington had enough around him to be what they are.
But,
and then the Chiefs' record isn't surprising, but the fact that they've had a lot of injuries and
the fact
Travis
that
Kelce has done nothing.
And the fact
last
that
week.
Patrick Mahomes has played like Daniel Jones, and they're still.
Daniel Jones might be better so far this year.
So far this year, he might be.
I don't know if you saw that Drake May was named the starter for the Patriots this coming week.
I did not see that.
It
had
Brissett
been
to the bench.
I don't think I've seen a Patriots game yet this year.
I have not. And
it's been on the split screen a couple times here and there, but haven't paid a ton of attention.
Yeah, I have Drake May in a Dynasty League on my taxi squad, so I might tune in a little bit just to see what he looks like.
Sure.
But it kind of seems like that's a rough situation for him. The Patriots don't have much around him, so...
Yeah. But then also, was he going to learn much from Jacoby?
No.
So maybe best case scenario for him is trial by fire instead of just sitting behind some not even serviceable quarterback for the rest of the season.
Yeah. I'd be curious to know what the record is for rookies to start for NFL teams at some point during a season, because Drake May and then Spencer Rattler was named starter for the Saints with Derek Carr out.
Oh, yeah.
So that makes 4 and 5. McCarthy's obviously not going to start this year because he is out for the season, but Penix, if Cousins misses a game, that could be 6 rookie starting quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I wonder what the record is. I'm sure that's not the record, but it's quite a few.
It's got to be close. That's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Update on Rashee Rice. I think it was today or yesterday.
It was just the LCL, right?
Yeah. For some reason, the Chiefs kind of were keeping that on the hush for a little bit, but it sounds like there was no ACL, MCL, meniscus damage. LCL only.
Good for him. I hate the Chiefs, so mad he'll still be good. Also, good for him because I don't want anyone to.
Right. We don't wish anybody gets hurt.
No.
Even if they're Chiefs.
Even if they're Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes.
Well, as a Broncos fan, it's driven me nuts that since Patrick Mahomes has been there, they haven't really suffered any serious long-term injuries. So it's about damn time.
Yeah. They've had a long string of luck.
Yeah. Other injury news: Nico Collins was placed on injured reserve today, so he's out at least 4 weeks. He was leading the NFL in receiving yards And he's actually top 10 in every single statistic. Yards, receptions, targets, touchdowns. I think he's 6th in touchdowns with only 3, but still. Ian Rappaport, I saw, did say that he should be back sooner than later, so probably just the 4 games.
4 weeks,
but
yeah.
in the meantime, Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell, probably going to have increased workloads.
It's not a bad backup cast.
Yeah, no kidding. Arguably the best wide receiver 2 and 3 in the league.
Yeah.
Dell's got the talent, even if he hasn't put the stats out there yet.
Yeah.
And then Derek Carr, I think I already mentioned that, expected out to miss multiple weeks, according to the reports. And then the last thing I had was...
missed. What did he hurt?
An oblique injury.
Oblique, okay.
Yeah, towards the end of the game. Got hit on a throwaway or something. But Devin White was released by the Eagles today. Only 26 years old. Was a stud for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that's a little surprising that he never caught on there.
Yeah. Wonder what that is. Well, maybe it's when I said earlier it's a coaching thing, and I picked Sirianni to be next.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of him.
No.
Even just looking at him.
No, don't. Something in here.
Yeah.
Bugs me. But yeah, I don't know who needs a linebacker right now. I feel like I want him just because.
Yeah, I mean,
Devin White.
He's got potential. You're not gonna have to pay him much because he's still getting paid by the Eagles, I'm sure. The Panthers have Shaq Thompson and Josie Jewell out for either the season or long term. Broncos leading tackler Alex Singleton's out for the season. Jaguars, Foyesade Oluokun is out, I think, for the season, if not for a long time.
Yeah, I just saw that one. He's out for a bit. I guess there's a lot of places that might be...
Could go back to Tampa Bay.
He's going to get snatched up soon, I think.
Yeah, I have a feeling he'll be signed before long.
Mm-hmm.
Another one was the Lions. Derek Barnes is out for the season. But I have a feeling Malcolm Rodriguez has played pretty well, and I know they want to get Jack Campbell more snaps and more responsibility in the defense. So I think that one's kind of a long shot. But did you have anything else for news?
I did not.
Just a kind of crazy stat that I saw. The Bengals, who are sitting at 1-4 after week 5, have only a negative 5-point differential. They lost games by 1, 3, 5, and 6, and then beat Carolina by 10. And on the other end, the Texans are 4-1, and they have a negative 12-point differential. They won games by 2, 3, 4, and 6, and then got shellacked by Minnesota. So,
dang,
kind of crazy stat.
That is a crazy stat.
Now it's time to dive into the Hooked Hierarchy, the part of the pod where we unveil our top 10 NFL squads, ranking teams based on performances, stats, and maybe a little bias. Who's rising to the top and who's slipping down the ranks. Get ready for some heated debates and some surprising picks as we break down the best of the best.
So how do we want to do this? Do we want to go same time and start
Let's
from 10?
Let's go one and one. Like, your first, my first.
Do we want to start at 10 and go to 1?
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
Go in reverse order?
Yeah, I like that.
So for me, at number 10, I got Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
I wanted to put them higher, but didn't feel like I could, and also had to put them in there because I love Baker. And
I tried to get him in my top 10, and I just couldn't quite squeeze them in. I like Baker a lot.
Yeah.
I think they're good team. But I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
But, number 10, I had the 49ers. This is, as we sit today, I think they'll obviously end up better than that if they can get McCaffrey back at some point this season, but they're getting a little healthier already.
They're not even in my 10.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't liked anything I've seen.
Yeah, maybe it's just, I don't know,
the last few seasons bias.
Yeah, 4 or 5 seasons seems like they're there toward the end. So, plus I really want to watch the Lions get a revenge game on them in the playoffs. So,
yeah,
but they I have it written here that they are 9th for rushing defense and 10th in total defense. Offense is 2nd overall in yards per game, 4th in passing yards per game, and 7th in rushing yards per game with McCaffrey out. I thought those were kind of some crazy statistics.
That is very surprising. I would have thought all that to be a bit lower.
Yeah.
Although the rushing yards, Mason's been...
Yeah,
especially, what was that, week 1?
Yeah.
He really surprised everyone.
Yeah.
But no, they've kind of fallen off from there, so they definitely fell out of my top 10.
Yeah.
But at number 9, I got the Falcons. I wanted them at 10, but they just beat the Bucks, so I had to give them 9. Kirk Cousins, is back.
Kirko.
Kirko
Chains is his nickname?
Yeah. He's so lame. Although I like him. I didn't want to, but after watching...
Which one is more cringy, Kirko Chains or Jared Goff with the buffs?
Goff.
You're just saying that because you're a Packers fan.
No, I hate Cousins. He was a Viking.
Yeah, true.
I think because of seeing quarterback and then seeing a very likable side of Kirk, I realized, all right, he's just being goofy, even if it is so cringy.
Yeah.
But
well, he's from Michigan, which is where we're at for
played at State.
Yeah.
But grew up in Holland.
Yeah.
So I guess have to like him, but yeah, he is kind of a dick move breaking Matt Ryan's record on Matt Ryan night.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
But whatever. So Falcons at 9.
Yeah, Matt Ryan inducted into their Ring of Fame, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're actually in lockstep on number 9. I also had the Falcons.
Nice.
I think you said this also. I wanted to put the Buccaneers over the Falcons, but after the Falcons squeaked it on overtime against them, can't bring myself to do that. I actually had a little money on the Buccaneers to win that game, so I was a little salty about that. But
promise we do these separate, but I think you'll notice throughout time that we're always in sync.
Cousins and London seem to be improving their chemistry. Mm-hmm. I always liked London's talent. I kind of questioned it a little bit last year, but
seems like a dog now.
Seems like a wide receiver one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then also their safety tandem, Justin Simmons.
Yeah.
Obviously love him. And
so mad Packers didn't grab him.
Yeah. Although Xavier McKinney.
I got him, and I wanted them both.
Is he leading the league in interceptions?
Yeah. I mean, he's the first guy to have an interception in the first 5 games with the team. So
that's insane.
Yeah, dude's balling.
He was at the top of my list for free agents. Yeah, not for.
I wanted him, but I didn't like the rest of their safeties, so I wanted them to grab another, and that Simmons was the one I wanted.
Yeah. But I was real surprised at how long it took him to sign on with the team. Yeah. And then I was kind of surprised it was the Falcons he ended up signing on with. Because didn't really see him as a contender. But
no, but he believed in Kirk.
Yeah. And here we got him in our top 10. So.
Number 8, I got Buffalo. You'd think higher because they came out looking like the best team in the league for a couple weeks. And then these last 2 losses didn't sit right with me, so got them knocked down to 8. So
yeah, we're both in agreement there too. I had Bills at number 8 on my list also. They are tied for the lead in turnover margin for the season at +7.
Oof.
Tied with my next team on the list, which I won't give away yet, but I feel like they need a weapon. Josh Allen, I feel like, kind of carried in the first couple weeks, and that's another reason I see them as a
Seems
possible
like he
landing.
needs a Davante.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But they're actually my highest power ranked team that isn't top 10 in any offensive or defensive statistic as far as yards per game or points per game go.
Nice.
So, obviously, the turnover margin is a big one. We'll see if that can last, because they seem to come and go sometimes. But
next on mine, this is where I know we're going to be off. I got the Lions. I know 3-1 right now. I think part of it is didn't see anything this week, so they weren't up there when I was thinking of best teams. Also, there's something, I don't know what it is, and I wonder if you see it too. Something about them this year feels off. It doesn't feel like where they left off. Like, it might be something that'll click all of a sudden, but something doesn't feel as good as they were last year, so that just my eye test, my gut test, I brought them down to 7.
Just to bring it up, I'm also a Lions fan. Grew up in Denver, now live in Michigan, so fan of both. I figure I'm allowed since they're in opposite conferences, but
Yep.
that's why he knew that we were going to differ on our lists. But at number 7, I have your beloved Cheeseheads. Yeah.
That's a good spot.
I will say that I think that they'll move up my power rankings. Love is obviously coming off a injury, looking a little bit more comfortable every week, seems like. I think you actually mentioned for his first game back, it looked like they might have rushed him back.
Immediately.
He didn't trust his knee.
I was like, why is he back? He's not stepping on that leg. This is awful. Yeah. And then he threw, 3 picks that game?
Yeah.
So
did they end up losing that game? Because they came back, but they lost.
Yeah, I quit watching it. He called me because they were coming back and they were within a score. Right, yeah. I turned it on immediately. When I turned it on, he threw his 3rd pick, and I was like, so I went back to doing what I was doing.
I actually knew that was coming. I wanted you to have to watch it.
Thanks.
Yeah, but they have weapons galore there. Seems like Jaden Reed
they could all
underrated.
Stay a little more consistent.
And if Dobbs gets his head out of his ass.
Yeah. Apparently they had good talks.
Yeah.
Since then. Dontavian is either he's like half the time best receiver in the history of the league, like ever, looks insane, and then the other half the time is who's a really bad receiver.
Dontavian Wicks.
The other half of the time he's Dontavian Wicks. And it's so irritating. Because end of the season last year, I was like, dude's coming up. He's going to be number 1, like, going forward. Like, looks like he could potentially, in a year or 2, replace even Davante. And then he came out just dropping everything.
Yeah.
But
I'm a little salty about it. I picked him up in a lot of fantasy leagues at the end of my drafts, and
he hasn't done anything for you.
Yeah, hasn't done too much. I think he had I've dropped him in most of the leagues, but I think he's had a game or 2. But
I just dropped him in one of mine.
Yeah, but I was actually kind of hoping the Dobbs situation would go downhill because I'm kind of as much as a Lions fan can be a Bo Melton fan, so I kind of wanted to see him get back out there. But
wait, why are you a Bo Melton fan?
I don't know, I feel like every time I watch the Packers games, he kind of stood out.
I thought maybe there was part of his story I didn't know. Yeah, I love Bo. Last year I was...
No, I have no reason to love him.
You just do. Okay.
When I watch good football players, can't help it.
No, I was yelling his name in a good way a lot towards the end of the season last year. He was playing like a dog, and I was heartbroken. They released him. They cut him in the off season, and then
I did not hear that.
And then must have brought him back, or I saw fake news. I don't know.
Okay.
I guess. All I know is I saw stuff that said he was released and seemed legit because I even dug a little bit, and then all of a sudden he was on their roster, and I was like, "What the heck happened?" But I was super stoked, and he hasn't done a ton this year, but he's been in and still looking like a dog when he gets a chance.
Yeah.
Which brings us to my number 6, which is the Green Bay Packers. Everything we just talked about, basically. Love looks like he's getting a little more comfy. He, good and bad, he's like, just looks like a real classic gunslinger, which is super sweet, but also does things like throws a 3-yard pick 6 trying to avoid a safety, which... How stupid can you be? But I think overall I like it because I enjoyed watching Brett Favre, as big of a piece of shit as he is. But
seems like Love's kind of on a similar trajectory as last year. He kind of started off rough, so
yeah.
Hopefully for you.
Looks like they'll figure it out a little bit sooner than they did last year. So
yeah. That was one thing I forgot to throw in there is that the Packers were the other team that are tied for turnover margin with +7.
Mm-hmm. I knew that one. I didn't realize.
McKinney with 5 is...
That helps.
Yeah, helps a bit.
Yeah, honestly, after the last 2 games, I'm surprised they're still up there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was...
They got a lot of picks and a lot of takeaways, though. They were at... I think they've got like 14, because they were averaging like 3 a game until this last week, and then they had, I think, 2.
If Love could just take care of the ball, you guys would be dominating.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6, I have the Washington Commanders. Maybe a little surprising to some people.
Mm-hmm.
Surprising to me if you would have told me that at the beginning of the season. Was a Jaden Daniels fan coming out of the draft, but I just didn't think Washington had enough.
MVP.
Yeah, I just wouldn't have thought the Commanders had enough around him to be off to the start that they are. But hey, I'll take them winning the division over the Cowboys or the Eagles.
Yeah, I think because of the last couple of years, maybe we forgot about Scary Terry.
Oh yeah,
he's Scary Terry for a reason.
Yep. So. I have him in a dynasty league, and he's finally putting up some stats, so I love that.
Yeah, I had him the last couple of years in leagues, and I'm like, ugh.
Of course, now he's good. Now that you don't.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I literally wrote next to Commanders Jaden Daniels. That's the story. So. But another interesting stat or whatever, not stat, but is the second quarterback taken better than the first again, 2 years in a row?
Oh, absolutely.
we hate Caleb Williams, so
Williams is.
He looked pretty good this last week.
Yeah, he looked. He
Although
seems to be improving.
He should with those weapons.
Yeah. Coming in at 5 for me, I got the Houston Texans. They're just starting to look how they should look.
Yeah.
They start off shaky, didn't they? Am I remembering that right?
They got dominated by the Vikings. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
they
probably the
fell,
one. That's
they fell
that's
victim.
Lost, but.
They fell victim to the Vikings.
But like I said earlier, they have a negative 12-point differential because all their wins are close, but good teams win close games. So.
It's got hella weapons like we talked about with all them. So, and C.J. Stroud's just really good.
Yeah. I will forever love that he never was able to beat Michigan. At number 5, I had the Houston Texans also.
Nice.
Yeah, leading wide receiver in the league. Obviously, he's out for a while now, but Diggs and Dell, great backups, if you will. Great 2-3. Mixon's been out for a couple weeks, and they're still winning games, so when he comes back, they're only going to be better. Their defense ranks 3rd in passing yards per game allowed and 4th overall. So, with a stud defense and that offense, I have a feeling that they're going to be... preseason, they were my kind of hopeful Super Bowl prediction, just hoping that it's not the Chiefs. But
there's a couple possible.
Yeah. Lions Texans was my preseason Super Bowl pick. So
nice. Number 5, I've got the Commanders. Similar thing. Next to that, I've just got Jaden friggin' Daniels, because dude's balling and they're putting up mad points.
Yeah.
Aren't they like top few in the league for points?
They are 2nd in the league in rushing yards per game and 1st in points per game.
1st in points, okay. I knew they were up there. I just didn't want to say 1st because I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're crushing it, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
have no reason to hate the Commanders, so.
No.
And everybody hates Cowboys, so.
Yeah, I don't really like the Eagles a ton.
I'm not sure why I dislike the Eagles, but I do.
I don't like Hurts, and I don't like Sirianni.
Yeah. I don't mind Hurts as a person. Seems like he's a little overrated, but...
Yeah. Same. Obviously, seems like a fine dude, but not that good at football.
Yeah. I think I went out of order a little bit there, so you go ahead and do your number 4. Or is you just did number 4?
That is my number 4.
At number 4, I got the Ravens. And Derrick Henry just looks like the perfect signing for that team.
Yeah.
And I know you're not the biggest Lamar fan, but he's playing pretty well.
Yeah, and with King Henry going off, he's looking good. Defense
probably focusing on Henry quite a bit. That sure helps. Zay Flowers finally had a big game.
Also, to be clear, I don't have much against Lamar. Just one of our friends, a guy you'll see on this pod, sometimes loves Lamar, so I just have to always hate him because it's way more fun that way.
Just to be a dick.
Yeah.
But yeah, their defense is 1st in against the rush as far as yards per game goes. Dang. So complete team. That's why I got them near the top of my list.
And I've got them at number 3 because of King Henry. And then, obviously, like we said, with him playing so well now, Lamar has looked quite a bit better. So, I mean, I think that very soon I might be able to put them above the Chiefs on my power rankings, and that would feel really good.
Yeah. I have a feeling we have the same top 2 the way things are going. If you hadn't messed up, put the Lions so low, we might have been in lockstep through the whole list. But that's all right. You'll find out. At number 3, I have the Lions. I think they can win in a variety of ways. They're, like you said, something kind of seems off this year. Their offense really hasn't clicked, at least through the first 3 weeks it hadn't. I think they're kind of rounding into shape.
Yeah.
Their defensive backfield's obviously still suspect. Both of those DBs cannot keep their hands to themselves. Drives me nuts watching them.
I love that Goff keeps doing little things to make himself seem so good so that Lions fans just keep riding him and thinking he's the best. Because, like, if you watch that game, his perfect game, dude was kind of silly during it. Like, taking sacks he shouldn't have. That safety. Like,
that was pretty sweet. I don't know what you're talking about.
There was still a lot of things that I didn't like. And, I mean, 18 for 18, obviously fantastic.
Right.
But he still looked a bit Jared Goff-esque. But no, I'm hoping he keeps doing that because I want everyone to back Jared Goff forever until he retires because he's why they won't win. And I like that.
Well, they already paid him a ton of money, so
I
he's not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I saw some people... mostly Lions fans, I think, complaining about the fact that he didn't have a perfect passer rating, even though he had perfect stats. But when you take a safety, he also had that completion that got brought back because of penalty.
That doesn't affect passer rating. The reason,
safety?
What would have affected it would be like yards per attempt or like touchdown percentage. He only threw one touchdown, right?
I don't remember. Yeah, threw one and caught one.
Oh yeah. So if he would have, I would bargain if he threw 2, it would have been there. I don't remember what his yards per attempt were.
He had almost 300 yards. So.
Okay, so yards per attempt is probably good, but since he only threw the 1 touchdown, that's what would have brought it down. It was what was it like 155 point something? It was like 3
By the way,
points off.
why is just make the perfect score 100? Why is it 158.3? That's weird.
QBR is that.
Yeah.
Also, I because then I went to look at his QBR just to see, and somehow that was still like 90 something, which I don't like. You could. They almost never are they rated that high with QBR, and it seemed like with those sacks and the safety and stuff that would have affected QBR. Seems like those would have brought it down quite a bit, but I guess that completion percentage was. Weighted enough that it got it up there.
Yeah, that is crazy. That 18 for 18 though, even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering if the, not the QBR. What's the other one?
Passer rating.
Yeah, the passer rating. If that was affected by like, if he took a check down when there was an open deep receiver. Or any of that kind of stuff.
That one's pretty. Like rudimentary. It doesn't take a ton into account. It takes just like the completion percentage, yards per attempt, touchdowns, interceptions, and I think it was probably just because he only threw 1.
I just thought about the 70-yard JMO touchdown. Definitely jumped his yards per attempt up. Without that one probably wasn't very impressive. But hey, a win's a win. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Lions. I feel like their defensive backs will improve. They can't be much worse. I mean, Terran Arnold. They need to throw him out there with some oven mitts on for practice or something. Yeah. But yeah, their defense is near the top of the league in rushing yards per game, 4th and 10th in points per game, and I think Hutchinson's early candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. I saw he's up there in the betting odds.
Yeah, he's leading the league in sacks, isn't he?
A 5 or 4.5 sack game will do that for you, though.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He does that where he has a crazy game and then does nothing, so he'll do nothing for a little while, and everyone will catch back up, and he'll go back to being.
When the Lions pick up Max Crosby, then he'll
if they picked up, those dudes.
Wishful thinking.
Those dudes would
wreak havoc.
Yeah, that would be rough. That'd be
and
rough for everybody.
With DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil in the middle too, it's hard. It'd be hard pressed to find a better defensive line than that.
So then at my number 2, I got Kansas City. The reason they're number 2 is because watching them, they suck, dude. I don't know how they keep winning. It doesn't make sense at all.
That's how we feel about them all the time, though. Mahomes gets away with murder.
He gets away with. How do they keep winning? Patrick sucks. He's thrown as many interceptions as he has touchdowns. Like, that's like Jameis Winston shit right there. How are they still winning? And like Pacheco out, Oh, I forgot. They did have a bad injury this year already, Pacheco.
Yep.
With the...
He's out for a while. He's not out for the season.
Was that a tib fib or just one of them? I don't know, some fracture.
Yeah.
But, of course, now all of a sudden Kelsey's figuring it out. It was a fantastic 3 weeks.
Did you see the Manning cast on Monday night? Bill Belichick was on with Peyton and Eli, as he always is, and they showed Taylor Swift, and immediately he just goes, ugh. He said, Kelsey's having too good of a more or less. Stop showing her.
Just sent that to you on my way. I think it was on my way here on Instagram. I sent it to you.
I saw it earlier today.
Yeah, that was funny. So yeah, somehow they're hanging on up there, undefeated for whatever friggin' reason.
Yeah. At number 2, I actually had the Vikings, which obviously tells you who my number 1 is. I felt like I just, with Chiefs being defending Super Bowl champion back-to-back and not having a loss, I didn't feel like I could move them down my power rankings as much as, well, I hate both of the top 2 teams, so I guess it didn't matter either way. But anyway, number 2, Vikings, I feel like 5 games is starting to be a big enough sample size to see that Darnold can at least
be an all-pro,
good enough with the weapons that they have.
Out of nowhere for no friggin' reason.
Yeah, although the Aaron Jones injury, we'll see how long that lasts. They do have a bye this week, which helps. And then you and I will be at Lions at Vikings in Week 7. That's going to be
yes, we will.
That's going to be a real big game.
I'll be there in my Aaron Jones Packers jersey, and I'll be cheering for the Lions, and everyone will be so confused.
Hey, as long as you're cheering for the Lions, you wear whatever you want.
No, I'm definitely wearing my Jones jersey. He's the only person that I love there. Well, not the only person. You'll be there too.
Oh,
but yeah. So obviously, I got Minnesota at 1.
Yeah.
So going on that, what the heck? I don't know why they're so good.
Yeah, they've been beating good teams too.
Yeah.
Houston, San Francisco, Green Bay.
An easy.
All in my top 10.
Although, somehow, even with the 3 picks, Green Bay should have won that game. Because, Narvison is a giant turd.
Oh, the kicker.
Yeah. Honestly, if they had Crosby still, they might have been at 4 or so on my rankings. But bad kickers take you out of games a lot.
Yeah, people don't.
People be like, well, you shouldn't put yourself in that situation. That's the NFL. You're always in that situation.
Yeah, NFL games are always close.
They're close. You need a kicker if you want to win big games.
Yeah.
And
the Lions kind of lost the NFC Championship in part to
kicking.
Not having a kicker.
Yeah.
Campbell didn't have the confidence in his kicker to, although some of that's him being arrogant and an idiot, but
yeah, so moving on, because I have Minnesota. That's all I want to say on that topic. I don't want to talk about them.
I did have a couple more things to say about the Vikings. Their defense is 4th in the league in in points per game. So yeah, they seem to be pretty balanced. Obviously, Justin Jefferson and
put them first
Jordan
for my Packers.
Yeah, true. Jefferson, Addison, Jones, Hawkinson when he comes back.
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy to think that they haven't even had him yet. But just a few teams that didn't make my top 10 that I thought to mention were the Eagles, Buccaneers, who I said I tried to squeeze into the top 10. Seahawks, I think, have been playing pretty good, although they got beat by the Giants this week, so it's easy to take them out of the top 10 after that.
Yeah, but also, yes, out of the top 10, yes. But also, Daniel Jones does that.
Yeah.
Randomly, he's Danny Dimes.
Well, that's how he got paid.
Randomly, he's Danny shits the bed. I don't know. He doesn't make sense.
I don't think he wants to adopt that nickname. But
I'm going to make it catch on.
I think that's it for our power rankings. Let's get to...
Well, obviously, Chiefs at 1 for him.
Oh, yeah. Kind of mentioned
we don't need to go back to them.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, Mahomes, Reed, Spagnuolo, and Kelsey, if he's back, that's a pretty good recipe for...
Is he so fat now?
Who's that?
Kelsey.
Oh.
Or is it just the new facial hair?
I don't know. The facial hair is terrible, but I also
because he looks Jason looks thinner than him now already that quick.
Yeah, which you have to believe that Jason was putting on pounds on purpose, being an offensive lineman.
I mean, a lot of them do that. They go and lose weight after, but it took one off season for Jason to get thinner than Travis.
Yeah. Yep. Now let's move on to Pigskin Prophecies, the segment where we unveil our picks for this week's NFL clashes. break down key matchups, analyze the stats, and make our bold predictions. Who will rise to the occasion and who will fall short? So we have 4 teams on bye this week. The Chiefs and Vikings, so both undefeated teams are on a bye this week.
Of course.
Probably, well, if you ask them, they probably don't necessarily want the bye being hot.
No.
Although with Pacheco and Aaron Jones being injured, they might want the weaker rest. And then the Rams and Dolphins, who obviously also have injuries. Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, Rams are liking this at this point.
Yeah, I saw McVay said that Kupp could possibly return in Week 7. He said it's optimistic.
Good, because he's in my Dynasty League.
Oh, yeah.
And I had him and Neighbors out this last week. And
I forgot Neighbors was out.
Yeah, but his was just like concussion or something.
Mild.
He's coming back, so I'm not concerned.
Yeah,
it's just last week sucked.
Yeah, and then Puka out for a while still, but obviously you get 1 week where him being out doesn't hurt you. And then the Dolphins, obviously Tua coming back, even though he should definitely retire.
No, yeah, he should never play again.
Before he becomes radio.
Right. Poor guy.
Let's start with the Thursday night football game, which should be a good one.
We got
NFC West matchup. We got the 49ers, who are sitting at 2-3, at the Seahawks, who are 3-2, and San Francisco is favored by 4.5 points in that game.
Well, that's a mistake. I'm taking Seahawks. Yeah, I think Seahawks in that game. Are we doing score too?
Sure.
I'm gonna say 27-21.
Okay. It's kind of opposite score of what I had. I actually have San Francisco winning and covering the spread. Have them winning 30-23. Both teams coming off a loss. San Francisco lost to Arizona by 1. Seattle lost to the Giants, as we talked about. I just feel like with the 49ers having their receiving weapons back, and obviously we talked about Jordan Mason's. Obviously nobody's Christian McCaffrey, but he's not too far of a drop off. And I just feel like the Niners, if they fall to 2-4, they're going to be hurting. So I feel like they're going to be desperate.
Playing hard. Yeah.
Who's
their kicker now?
They signed a new guy. I don't remember his name, but yeah, that could affect him too.
That's why I didn't have them kicking any field goals in my score. In my score prediction.
Jake Moody out for a little while.
Yeah.
Former Michigan kicker. Move on to the 1:00 games on Sunday. Got the Jaguars 1-4 at the Chicago Bears, and the Bears are favored by 2.5 points. I'll go first on this one.
Yeah.
I actually have Chicago winning and covering the spread. Just haven't seen much from the Jaguars other than Brian Thomas to make me believe in them at all. I feel like Williams and DJ Moore are really clicking.
Yeah, but I don't want him to, so I want Jacksonville to win.
I'm picking with my head, not my heart, or trying anyway. But
it's hard when it's teams that I hate.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I have Chicago winning 27-20. So
I was gonna say that score, but the opposite.
Well, there you go.
With Jacksonville winning.
This second 1:00 game, Cardinals, who are 2-3. Which when I looked up the record, I was kind of surprised that they're only 2-3. I felt like they had one more than that.
Yeah.
But 2-3 Cardinals at
the
Packers, 3-2, and the Packers are favored by 5. At least when I checked earlier today.
Yeah, I got the Packers and they'll cover. I'm gonna say 34-17.
Okay, I had Green Bay also winning, covering. I think the Cardinals are pretty decent. Kyler Murray's looked pretty good this year. Marvin Harrison hasn't been too good the last couple weeks, but started off pretty good.
Yeah.
But I had the Packers winning 32-26. Arizona has the 5th worst rushing defense, and Green Bay has the 3rd best rushing offense. So look for Josh Jacobs to have a day.
Slightly skewed. I guess Jacobs is actually up there in yards, but I think that because of those 2 Jordan Love-less weeks, all they did was
Willis,
run.
Yeah.
Willis was running. They were running a lot of sweeps. They were running the ball constantly. So I think just because of that their rush offense looks better than it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I still think Jacobs could have a day on that then.
Yeah.
Which will open up a lot of play action, which is why such a high score.
Yeah. There you go. Next, we got the Colts sitting at 2-3 at the Titans, who are 1-3, coming off the bye week. And the Colts are favored by 1 in that one. I have Indianapolis. Yeah, I was surprised by that one too. The Titans not playing so great, and Levis is questionable, so even if he plays, not going to be at full strength. I had the Colts winning 24-17 with Joe Flacco starting, Anthony Richardson out. Flacco obviously played real well for the Browns last year.
I definitely taking Colts there. Flacco is a baller when he
is good everywhere except for Denver.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Basically.
When he went to Denver, was he signed as a starter?
Oh, yeah.
He was? Okay, that's why. He's going to be signed as your backup guy.
I mean, he was pretty good in Baltimore. So
yeah, right. But since then...
he probably wasn't a starter when he got drafted. I don't remember that.
He's come in as the backup, and then once he gets playing time, balls out.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see much of their game last week, so I don't know how well he played, but...
I'll quit doing score. Go next.
You what?
I'll quit doing the score.
Oh, okay. Next, we got the Texans 4-1 at the Patriots 1-4. Kind of easy one to pick there.
I don't even need to know the spread. Houston's going to cover it.
Yeah. Houston favored by 7. I also had them. I actually have them winning. I had them winning 33-10. Drake May's first start going against a defense that's gotten a lot of pressure on quarterbacks.
He's throw a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, I feel bad for the kid.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't like him much coming out of the draft, but still,
no, but that's
hate to see a guy.
Not a great way to start off your career.
Yeah, those situations are tough because obviously Brissett's not doing much for you, and you might as well get May some playing time, right. But also you don't want to ruin his confidence. So
right.
See how that goes. Hopefully he does a little better than we think he will. Even without Collins, I think Texans offense and defense is just way too much for the Patriots to deal with.
Yeah.
Next, we got the Buccaneers sitting at 3-2, facing the Saints in a divisional matchup. It's in New Orleans, and Tampa Bay is favored by what? Why don't you take a guess?
They're with Carr out. They're probably favored by like 10.
I would have guessed they were favored by more. Tampa Bay only favored by 3.5, so I'll be putting some money on that spread for sure. Yep. Although twice now I've bet on the Buccaneers thinking that they were a shoo-in to win and they've let me down. So, or maybe 3 times. I think I might have bet on them against the Broncos just to hedge my feelings, but that one I'm okay with.
Yeah,
I'm okay with throwing that money away.
Who's back up? We just talked about it.
For the Saints?
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler. Rookie.
Yeah.
5th round rookie, so not a recipe for success.
Nope. Tampa's going to cover that spread with ease.
Baker, did you see the Baker going undercover? Like Eli
I saw that it happened. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Though.
I watched it. It was pretty good. It's pretty funny.
Nice. I want to.
I've always been a Baker fan. Coming out of college, I thought he was going to be good. And then, of course, he got stuck with a terrible Browns organization.
Yeah.
And a terrible Panthers organization.
Yeah.
Now he's finally got a team around him. He's doing what I thought he would do.
Yep. I like him. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, he is. Except for when you're going against him. He drives me nuts because he'll disappear in the pocket and then just...
only perfect passer rating in Lambeau. Like, opponent in Lambeau.
Wow.
Obviously, Rodgers and Favre, and they all have
that's a stat of the day
in
right
Lambeau.
there.
But, yep, Baker Mayfield is the only opposing quarterback to throw a actual perfect game.
As a Buccaneer last year?
Yep.
Impressive. And did they win?
The Bucs?
Yeah. Sorry about it.
It's okay. I wasn't mad. Yes, I was.
I mean, it worked out. You guys made it.
Yeah.
Made it further than people thought you would in Jordan Love's first season starting. So.
Yeah.
Next, we got the Browns sitting at 1-4.
Oh, they'll lose, I bet.
Yeah, at the Eagles. This is actually the biggest spread of the week. Philadelphia favored by 9 points.
Really? Because Philly hasn't even been good.
Yeah, but they're getting Davante Smith and AJ Brown back.
Oh,
both.
okay.
So
okay,
Barkley's I believe is playing, which basically full strength. Also, Lane Johnson's been out and he's back this week too. So
okay, well, yeah, I'll take them. I'll take them to cover. I think any team in the league could probably cover that spread against the Browns.
Deshaun Watson is so terrible. As far as ratio of terrible play to being overpaid, probably the worst ever. And then you factor in the fact that they gave up assets for him.
Maybe the worst transaction in sports history.
It's possible. The Herschel Walker one's up there. They gave up a ton for him, and he was not good after that trade. But
I think the adding in the sex offender crap.
Yeah.
So then you add in the personal bit. Eek. Not a good look.
Pretty
Cleveland.
terrible. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of hoping that the Broncos were going to make that move, so I'm very thankful they didn't. Although Russell Wilson didn't end up much better. At least not all of his money was guaranteed.
Yeah.
And also, he's at least a decent person, even if he's cringy. Deshaun Watson's just a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Next, we got the... Oh, actually, I had Philadelphia also covering, winning 31-19. Next, we got the Commanders off to the hot start, 4-1 at the Ravens. So that's a good matchup there.
Ooh.
I was a little surprised by the spread on this one. Who do you think is favored and by how much?
I would bet that Baltimore's favored.
Would you bet? Like, you will bet? How much? Yes, Baltimore's favored by how much?
Probably too much. Probably like 4.5.
More. 6.5 points. I was shocked by that one.
Wow.
Not enough to put money on Washington, I don't think, but...
No. I think that's tough. I think, though, probably I'm taking Baltimore.
To cover the spread?
What was it again? 6.5?
6.5, yeah.
I bet they do.
Okay.
This feels like a check yourself kind of game for the Commanders.
Yeah, I actually had Washington covering the spread, but Baltimore winning 27-23.
Okay.
So at least I'm hoping it's a close game because I'm interested to watch that one.
Yeah.
Next, move on to the 4:00 games on Sunday, starting with the Chargers, who are 2-2 at the 3-2 Broncos. I don't know who saw that coming. Ooh. Even I did not see the Broncos starting off 3-2. Chargers favored by 3 in that one. Probably because it's in Denver. I think they say you get like 2 points for home. So on a neutral field, Chargers would be favored by about 5. But Chargers by 3. What do you think?
That's tough. Because Nick's playing better. And that defense is good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think I might take Denver. What's the spread?
Chargers -3. So Denver to win.
Yeah, Denver's going to win. Denver's going to win. I think Denver. I take Denver winning.
I actually had the Broncos winning also. I don't know. I said actually like anybody's surprised. But I had them winning 24-23. It's actually the 2 best defenses in the league as far as points per game go. Chargers and Broncos.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know the Chargers were...
I forget who was number 1 and who was number 2. But yeah, top 2 points per game defenses. So probably going to be a lower score than I predicted. I said 24-23, but like you said, I think Bo Nix is playing better. I think his little blow up on the sideline with Peyton actually put some...
All he did was say that he loved him. He said
yeah.
It wasn't really a blow up. I don't know now. Now that I know that about the Chargers defense.
Yeah. That's why I didn't tell you before you picked.
I worry about Bo crumbling.
Yeah, I'd be curious to look.
Keep it, though.
I'd be curious to look at back at the Chargers' schedule and see who they've played because I don't feel like their defense should be that good. Plus, I believe Derwin James is suspended, or was that last week? He was suspended.
I think that was just a game. Yeah, I think that was last week.
Okay.
Freaking guy.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to have him on my team, but
he's very good, and I fully support him suplexing Travis Kelce whenever he wants.
We're in agreement there. Next, we got the Steelers sitting at 3-2, facing off in, I almost said Oakland, but they'll actually be playing in Las Vegas, which is the home of the Raiders now.
Only for the last few years.
Right, and the Raiders are kind of falling apart right now. They don't know who their quarterback is. Davante is already ruled out for this week, obviously, because of his hamstring.
For some reason, I feel like I saw he was actually going to play
No, they just announced today that he's
Okay.
out for this week with his hamstring injury, which I'm sure will be perfectly fine when he ends up in New York. But I was surprised by the spread here a little bit. The Steelers, not that I love the Steelers or anything, but are only favored by 3 in that one.
Huh. Odd. Yeah, they'll win. The Steelers will.
Cover?
And they'll cover.
Yeah, I agree. I had written down 20-16, but now that I'm talking about it and thinking about it, I think the Steelers might score a little bit more than that. I'm going to say 24-16. Curious to see who the Raiders start. I kind of liked O'Connell coming out of college, but without Davante there, it's going to be maybe tough sledding.
Yeah.
TJ Watt, that's pretty tough to go against.
Yeah.
Next, we got the Detroit Lions at the Dallas Cowboys. Lions are 3-1. Cowboys are 3-2. Maybe a little revenge game for the Lions after the.
Well, shoot! I don't know who I want to win this.
Yeah, I know. That's tough for you.
Normally, I would always say Lions in this situation.
Well, I'll tell you this.
But I want the Lions.
My wet dream is a Taylor Decker receiving touchdown to win the game after what happened last year.
That would be cool.
But
also, I would like everybody in the NFC North to lose this week. Yeah, I guess except the freaking Vikings because they can't, and then the Packers to win. But I think that actually...
Oh, Detroit's favored by 3.
My hate for Dallas runs deeper, and...
Well, we've talked about this before. You haven't had much reason to hate the Lions until last year. They have never been.
No, they've
really
never.
That good, so.
They've never upset me. Just their fans.
I'll leave.
But I'll take. I think I'll take Detroit coming off the bye. And I do. What was the spread? 3?
Yeah.
I think that's easy to cover.
Yeah. Yeah, I also have Detroit winning and covering the spread. I have 34-27.
That sounds about right.
One note I had on there was could be some potential wild card implications with this. Whoever wins this game, Minnesota and Green Bay being in the same division as the Lions, Washington and Philly in the same division as the Cowboys. It's a possibility that those two end up fighting for a wild card position.
Crazy that we're already looking at.
Have to.
Yeah,
that's what we're here for. That's the kind of insights you're going to get with Hooked on Football.
That's right.
But I also had written down that the Lions have the 4th best rush defense and the Cowboys have the 2nd worst rush offense. So they're going to be one-dimensional. And then CD's drama going on. Usually he plays well after that, especially going against the Lions DBs that
they're really good.
Can't help but get. Yes, they are. Moving on, I got the Falcons at 3-2 at the mighty Panthers, sitting at 1-4.
Oh well, the Falcons are obviously gonna win.
Yeah. Atlanta is favored by 6 in that one.
And they'll cover.
Yes, I had Atlanta winning 27-17. I already mentioned Cousins and London seem to be on the same page. Who was Darnell Mooney playing pretty good?
Oh,
Kyle Pitts finally had a game. Although I guess everybody had a game in that one because Cousins had 7,000 yards. I think it was. I think he broke the single season passing record in that one game.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see Atlanta winning that one fairly easily. The Panthers, they looked like they got a little hungry from Dalton's first start, but I don't know. I have a feeling that they're going to continue on their downward trend and end up being sellers at the deadline. Sunday Night Football matchup, we got the Bengals deceiving 1-4 going against the Giants, who, let's be honest, are not great, but playing better than I think most people thought they would.
Deceiving 2-3. Yeah. They should be 0-5.
Cincinnati favored by 3.5.
I'm taking Cincinnati and definitely covering.
Yeah.
Although with Neighbors coming back, who knows?
Yeah.
Although they only won without.
He's a beast.
They just hadn't played so well without him.
Yeah.
Ah, crap. They're gonna lose.
Well, you know why they won though.
Why?
Because the Seahawks were coming off a matchup with the Lions, and nobody wins the week after they play the Lions. Teams are 0-4 currently. The week after playing the Lions. Yep. Lions just beat teams up.
Weird.
Yeah. But Yeah, I also have Cincinnati covering. I had 26-20, I think. Most NFL games are close, and the Giants are playing better than people thought. Plus, every one of the Bengals games has been close. Like we talked about their point differential earlier. Obviously, I could see the Bengals blowing them out, but I have 26-20. And the last game of the week, we got Monday Night Football. The Bills 3-2 at the Jets 2-3, and kind of feels like a must-win for the Jets after new coach, and you don't want to follow the 2-4 with a head-to-head loss to the Bills if you want any hopes at winning the division. And Buffalo is favored by 2.5 in that one.
I think the Jets win this. I think the Jets win.
Win outright?
Yeah.
I can see it. I actually had Buffalo covering, but not by much. I had them winning 26-21.
Okay.
I have a feeling that the interim coach, for some reason, it seems like whenever a team has an interim coach the first week, they always are like high energy and play really well. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised if the Jets.
Yeah. No, that's what
Jets won, but
that, and then like you said, this is the whole situation, like needing to. You don't want to fall to 2-4.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose in your division. You want to give Davante a reason to want to come there.
Yeah.
Rodgers definitely seems like there's still a little bit of that magic in there, and I think that he figures out how to get it done this week.
Why can't I think of the third team in that division? Bills, Jets, Patriots,
Dolphins.
Yeah, that's why they're kind
Because
of off
they
the map
aren't
right now.
anywhere near them.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. They might storm back when Tua comes back, but
Yeah.
now that we've covered all the games coming up this week, the league's latest, our greatest on the gridiron, and made our showdown selections. Time for our final segment, fantasy feature. From start-sit suggestions to buy high and sell low trade ideas to waiver wire targets, we've got it all covered. Grab your notebooks as we give you some of our winning strategies. I'll start off with some waiver targets that I had. I was checking, so I decided to skip over some of the players that aren't available in too many leagues.
Sure.
But Caleb Williams, we kind of talked about, he's kind of seems on the upward trend, and he seems to be available in quite a few leagues.
Yeah.
And then the only other quarterbacks I had were Daniel Jones and Bo Nix, but those are more guys like if you have quarterback on a bye or if super flex league. I feel like they're available in some of those leagues and putting up better stats than they were early on, or at least were expected to.
I can see all those depending on your league.
Yeah. And then at running back position, I had Tank Bigsby. ETN still the running back one, but Bigsby's snap count has and his carries have increased each of the last 3 weeks.
Bigsby just had a big game, didn't he?
Yeah. Yep. He had a big game in week 5. I forget who they played, but yeah. And then ETN is nursing a shoulder injury, so I have a feeling that Bigsby's probably going to have a big workload this week.
Might as well rest ETN longer.
Yeah. I mean,
especially after
their team's kind of in a position where they have to win, so I have a feeling they won't sit him even if it's iffy. True. But then I had Jalen Wright for the Dolphins. Achane, I believe, is out with a concussion this week. And after Wright replaced him in their game last week, Wright actually averaged 6.6 yards a carry.
Oh, dang.
And then Mostert is their other top running back. He's kind of been in and out all season dealing with injuries too. So the only thing is with whoever their quarterback is right now, I forget, defenses are just going to stop the run and make the quarterback try to beat him. It was Skylar Thompson. It's Tyler Huntley. Former Raven.
Yep.
And then I had Tyrone Tracy, running back for the Giants. He had 18 carries for 129 yards in week 5. I was kind of surprised by that one. And a win over the Seahawks. And then some other ones. Roshan Johnson, just not a DeAndre Swift fan. I have a feeling Roshan Johnson's going to...
Didn't Swift actually have a good game?
He did, but he always has one or two.
That's true. I forgot.
Antonio Gibson was one I had on the list. I'm honestly not a huge fan of it. I feel like they demoted Ramondre Stevenson just to kind of light a fire under him, because in their game last week they named Gibson the starter, but Stevenson ended up dominating the workload and actually played pretty well. And then Alexander Madison for the Raiders. Zamir White has been absolutely terrible. I don't know what happened to him. He looked pretty good at the end of the year last year, but not been good this year. I had him in a couple fantasy leagues, and he is now a free agent. Some wide receivers I had. Jalen Tolbert for the Cowboys. Seems to be their wide receiver too, especially with Brandon Cooks out.
CD throwing his tantrums.
Yeah, Jalen Tolbert actually has, I believe, 4 touchdowns on the season.
Seriously?
I believe so.
Dang.
But yeah, he's got a double digit scoring output in 3 out of 5 weeks so far. So
okay.
Definitely probably not a wide receiver 1 or 2 option as far as fantasy goes, but maybe a flex option for you.
Yeah.
Ray McLeod for the Falcons. He has actually had over 95% of snaps every week since week 1. I was baffled by that. That seems high for even the top tier wide receivers.
Yeah.
So
that's a ton.
Yeah. I checked out a couple top receivers, and even they take more plays off than that. So, but he had 9 targets in week 5, so maybe a name to look out for out there. Then Juju Smith-Schuster for the, I can't believe I just said his name. Couldn't stick with the Steelers. Where was he last year? He tried to go somewhere else and they got rid of him.
Where was he? I don't know. Chiefs now.
Yeah. Anyway, he had 7 catches for 130 yards in week 5, so seems to be their wide receiver 1 right now. I mean, Kelsey, but
Worthy?
Not wide receiver. Worthy hasn't done a whole lot since week 1. He had that first quarter of the first game. He exploded for a touchdown, but hasn't done much since. Josh Downs for the Colts. I actually had this one written down before the Michael Pittman news, which I forgot to talk about in the news segment earlier. Michael Pittman's out for a few weeks.
Oh.
They announced today. So Josh Downs and Alec Pierce are both
good ones.
Good waiver wire targets. See, the only thing I don't like about this is now you're going to go out and add some of these guys that I want in our fantasy.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm way too lazy to do all that. I just roll with my team all season.
There you go.
I'll take your money into the playoffs and then knocked out week 1 every year.
Some other ones I had. Michael Wilson, who led Arizona in receiving week 5. Like I mentioned earlier, Marvin Harrison has not been too good the last 2 weeks. I'm not sure what's going on there. I believe I saw that Wilson and Harrison have the same target share, but Wilson has just done a lot more with his targets since week 2, which was against the Lions. No shocker that Harrison went off in that game. And then Trey Tucker had, he seems to be the Raiders wide receiver 2 with Adams out, obviously probably for the rest of the year. Adams is going to be gone. So, and then Tutu Atwell for the Rams with Kupp and Puka out.
Yeah.
Alan Lazard for the Jets.
Might be coming back, maybe not as. Yeah. But also, I mean, maybe he's got staying power and he'll keep getting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Tutu Atwell and Jordan Whittington have been putting up stats.
Yeah.
I feel like Whittington's going to lose his. He's going to be the one to lose his snaps because Atwell actually was performing pretty well with Nakua and Kupp still out
Tutu's always been their pretty good number 3 guy.
Yeah, kind of a security blanket kind of guy. And then Alan Lazard averaging over 6.5 targets a game, and he also has 4 touchdowns in 5 games.
Yeah, as long as you're not in some weird league where drops count against them.
Which they should. It's like missed field goals count against kickers.
They should. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, he's the only guy that's got the chemistry with Rodgers, and
you can tell
he gets a lot of those touches. So he would be a good one.
They might just want to trade Garrett Wilson for Davante, because Davante and Lazard gonna get all the targets.
I mean, as dumb as it might be, you're clearly in a win now.
Yeah. A few tight ends I had on there. There's the tight end position is just terrible in fantasy this year. Laporta and Kelsey were the clear top two last year, and
none of them are doing anything.
Andrews
across the board, none of the tight ends.
Lamar Jackson just apparently hates Andrews at least every other week. Seems like he takes turns with the two tight ends, or they both just suck. But yeah, I had Dalton Schultz with the Nico Collins injury might get more of a target share. He's been terrible so far this year.
I dropped him in one of my leagues.
Yeah, he's not been good. I don't love it, but if you're in dire need of a tight end, it's not a bad target. Taysom Hill, Derek Carr's injury, he might be playing some quarterback.
Can you put him at tight end and give quarterback points?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. Yes. Do it.
Yeah, I think I forget which way it was. He was either listed as only a quarterback or only a tight end last year in some fantasy
I know
services.
this year I saw a tight end.
This year he's both. You can start him either place in, it's just like Amon-Ra's passing touchdown counted as fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Goff's receiving touchdown, whatever. But yeah, with Derek Carr out, Taysom Hill might have more of a workload. Plus, rookie quarterback could get pulled.
Yep.
Never know. I'm feeling they won't pull him in his first start.
Probably not.
go out there for a half and...
you suck it.
Yeah, we're done with you. And then Tyler Conklin for the Jets.
Snagged him up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had 8 and 9 targets each of the last 2 weeks. Rodgers seems to be building some chemistry with him. So, and then a couple of notes I had for guys to avoid. Texans wide receiver 3. I just feel like Dell and Diggs are gonna get so many targets. Plus, I think the wide receiver 3 for them is either Xavier Hutchinson or John Mechie, and neither one has ever done a thing. So I like John Mechie coming out of college. I think he was battling an injury, or maybe might have been when he had some form of cancer, and they didn't think he was going to even play again. But yeah, I was kind of high on him. I was hoping they'd release him this offseason. The Lions could pick him up. But and another one I had to avoid was Ty Chandler, running back for the Vikings. He's supposed to be the starter, but they're on a bye this week. I don't think Aaron Jones is going to be out too long. And the week after their bye, they play Detroit, who's one of the top rushing defenses. So I have a feeling by week 8, Jones might be back, and Chandler would just kind of be a wasted spot. But I did see him on some waiver wire lists out there. It's just one that I don't really care for. Then last, just had some trade candidates, buy low candidates. Darnold coming off a real bad week, but weapons galore. I have a feeling that he's going to put up stats the rest of the season.
I'm hoping he remembered who he was.
Oh, me too. But trying to think with my head, I have a feeling he'll be a decent fantasy quarterback, at least for the rest of the year. Tyreek Hill with Tua coming back. I traded for Tyreek in our Dynasty League. So I'm really hoping Tua comes back soon.
Yeah.
By the way, is Tua better than I thought? Because when he's out, those receivers in that team are terrible. When he's in, they're pretty good.
I mean, he's definitely a starter.
Yeah.
But also, like, their backups are
terrible.
Trash, yeah.
Fair enough.
No, Tua's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
I agree. I feel like we're kind of on the same page. He's like in the Goff tier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Put enough around him.
He's like,
he can seem pretty
he's
good.
Like upper. Well, really, it's the Cousins tier.
Yeah.
He's been doing it longer.
Yeah.
Goff's in there. I think Tua's like upper Cousins tier.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough. Breece Hall.
It's a good one to
Shouldn't put him in a buy low since I've been trying to trade for him.
He's a good one to try to buy low that someone's been trying to buy low.
Well, he's been terrible the last 2 weeks.
Yes,
so
he has.
It is a good time if you have fantasy league mates that are not as smart as Brett. You might be able to get Breece Hall for.
Also, ours is a dynasty league, so
fair.
I plan to have this dude forever until he's retired. So
another one, Devon Achane. He's not been good since Tua's been out, but with Tua coming back, he seems to get a lot of checkdowns, and obviously with their passing game, it opens up the run game a lot. So I feel like he's a good candidate to try to move for. I threw Nico Collins on here. Obviously, he's out for 4 weeks, but if you can get someone that's in dire need of a wide receiver with him being out, you've got some wide receiver depth to kind of survive the 4 weeks with him out.
Yeah, be a good one to snatch up.
You can get him for the playoff run.
Yeah.
That could be a real good trade for you. Caleb Williams, mentioned him on the waiver wire, actually, but also a decent trade candidate. I wouldn't give up too much for him, but for, you never know, there might be someone out there that's willing to give him up for something that you just have sitting on your bench. If one of your quarterbacks isn't not performing. Davante, obviously been out, but if he goes to New York or Buffalo or wherever, no matter where he goes, they're going to feed him because you're not trading for a guy and not using him. So
yeah, he's gonna go somewhere and then have a real good season the rest of the year. I have a feeling.
Yeah. And then Deontay Johnson was my last buy low candidate. He had a real good week. Dalton's first start. Dalton's obviously much better passer than Bryce Young is. Bryce Young's confidence seems to be all but gone. I feel like he needs a change of scenery. But also Deontay Johnson, I have a feeling, might be moved by the trade deadline.
He's made it into my flex spot the last couple weeks.
Yeah. He didn't do too good this past week, but I feel like he's going to be fairly consistent for the rest of this season, no matter where he's at. And then just a couple sell high candidates. Couldn't think of too many, but DeAndre Swift had a real good game this past week.
You should always sell him if you have him for anything.
I wish I could sell all of his rookie cards that I have.
You can't because he sucks.
Yeah. And then Justin Fields, I don't know how much longer he's going to be the starter. He's played decent, but I don't know what it is with the Steelers. If they just promise Russell,
I don't know if he's done enough to even be able to sell high. Like, they're winning, but has he been putting up numbers fantasy-wise?
Decent, only because he runs a little bit.
Okay.
So, and then Kyle Pitts had a real good week this week. But
get rid of him if you can.
Yeah, he's
notorious for doing...
I've seen rumors about the Broncos trading for him, which I love his talent, but he never does anything. So, yeah.
I don't get that.
What's that?
I don't get that.
That he doesn't put up stats?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have thought with Cousins coming in that he would kind of unlock him, but...
Nope.
I don't know. Anyway, that's going to do it for the first episode of Hooked on Football. Thanks to any of you who are tuning in, if there are any of you out there.
Yeah. No, there's not many yet, but...
Like we said, like, subscribe, follow, share. Anything you can do to kind of get us out there. Feel free to comment and let us know anything you might like to see from future shows.
And we'll see you next week.